Hi, it's Ileana. So today I am going to discuss the drones that I've been seeing, and this drone that appears every couple of days from 8 until 10 or 12 p.m. at night. Sometimes it hovers until 2 a.m. It is definitely has some interesting characteristics. It usually appears in the night sky with three dots that look bluish. And when you actually go to record them on video, it looks whitish blue and switches color between green, purple. It actually switches frequencies on video. And I posted a video of that. I recorded it on video, and some people have said to me, you're just recording video of the Orion's belt, because it has a group of 3 stars that line up at a certain point during the winter. And I'm like, I'm not so sure about that. And so I talked to my mom, and she's like, so you're seeing more than one Orion's belt every night? Because there's like 2 or 3 of these popping in and out with 3 dots that are blue that look like stars, but it's hovering and it's moving around. There's 2 or 3 of it. That can't all be the same Orion's belt, because it's moving positions, it's hovering, it's shifting frequency, and it doesn't stay in the same place in the sky the whole night. I understand positions of the stars change in the night sky, and it shifts because we're on a moving planet that also rotates and shifts. But these things act as quiet hovering drones, and they're blinking. I understand stars can blink too, but when I go to record a single star or a planet on video, it is always yellow or white. Sometimes the spectrum of little white or yellow together. But this thing with the 3 blinking blue dots, it actually is like, it is different color spectrums. It's not just yellow and white as one star or one planet that I've recorded on video, because I've tried recording some stars and some planets, which I know are stars and planets for sure. It's not Orion's belt. And when I went to record these things, it doesn't have the characteristics of a star or planet, because it blinks more, it hovers, and it moves. It doesn't stay in one position, and it's consistently blue and white. That's what it looks like to the naked eye. These hovering drones or crafts, whatever they are, and they appear. So even my mother has seen it, and she's like, that can't be all Orion's belt, because there's more than one of it in that 3 dot position, and it's moving around. That's not one Orion's belt. I see 2 or 3 of these things in the night sky right now. So I'm like, she's like, I don't think you're just seeing Orion's belt. I think these are crafts or drones of some kind. So I even talked to my mother about this, because the eyes don't lie. And this craft or drone, it does seem to have an intelligence, because I've been able to communicate with it. And sometimes it appears in the left side of the house, sometimes it appears in the right side of the house, or even like high above or lower amid the trees. So it moves around and it quietly hovers. It's not an airplane, it's not a helicopter, it is quiet, it hovers, it just appears and disappears. It morphs in and out. It acts like sophisticated drone systems that are monitoring something, or sophisticated craft that are monitoring something. And I've been seeing it on more since 2019, and seeing more of it now appearing, and more than one of it appearing, like 2 or 3 on the same night. And so has my mom. So she's like, your theory that it's just Orion's belt with 3 stars in close proximity to that, which form Orion's belt. She's like, I don't think that really flies here, because these things, there's more than one of them. And I know there could be constellation of stars, like 3 stars in a row. There's certain constellations, but when there's like 2 or 3 of them appearing and moving around subtly, yes, they're hovering, slowly moving around from one side of the house to the other. She's like, I don't think those are constellations or 3 points of grouped stars or Orion's belt. So just common sense, these things move around, they hover. So they don't act as typical stars or even Orion's belt. So it's like I could be sometimes seeing Orion's belt, but it's more fainter in the night sky, and it doesn't blink and hover so much. Like it just, if I'm seeing Orion's belt, it's very faint. But this thing, whatever it is, I'm seeing multiples of it. And my mom is seeing multiples of it, so there's 2 or 3 of it. It's becoming a bit more blatant. And I decided, okay, I'm going to investigate this phenomenon further. And sometimes what I've said, like, I know you're hovering there. I know you're on the left side of the house. Like, I could feel you there. I can't see you, but I know you're there. And it has said to me, look out, look on the right side of the house. I'm here on the right side tonight. I'm going to hover for you, and I'm going to blink more. And I'm like, woo, I'm going to take video. I'm going to record video of you. So I was like, okay, I'll blink more for you as you record, so you can get some video that is interesting. I'm like, so it does have intelligence, and I can sense it even when there's clouds covering the sky. It's not a clear sky. Like I could feel it there, and I can even like see it in the sky when it's not there with my ability. And I'm like, I know you're there, and I appear for me. And sometimes it appears for me, and sometimes it doesn't appear for me. But it's like on one night, like I know you're there on the left side of the house. I could feel you. It was a clear sky, no clouds. I could even see a few single stars, yellow stars out. I knew it wasn't that particular item, but I could feel that item between the tree line on the left side of the house. And I said, I know you're on the left side right now. I can feel you. You're there. And it's like, I could feel it there, and said, but I'm going to appear tonight on the right side of the house. That's where you can shoot the video tonight. And I'm going to be hovering and blinking in my usual blue frequency and green and purple, because when you go to record on video, it changes frequencies and colors. You usually see it as 3 dots, blue dots with a whitish hue. So, but it records on video with shifting frequencies and colors, which makes it interesting. And I wanted to see if I could find something similar to that. If if I could actually find something like that. And if anybody else has encountered this. And I found something on Reddit. This is from 7 years ago, but I think it's relevant. The person was in Portugal and photographed actual moving objects that were white and bluish in color. And it's not just stars because it's moving. So they were kind of describing the characteristics of it. And they said, we just saw a bunch of moving star-like dots in the night sky, wondering what they could be. And it's kind of like what I see when these objects appear. Maybe one of it is Orion's belt or a cluster of 3 stars. That sometimes can happen, and you can mistake drones for clusters of stars. But sometimes there's drones with 3 blinking lights, advanced drone systems that are hovering there for hours and blinking and moving. And just when you record video of it, it looks like shifting frequency. It looks more like one orb, one big one, because your eyes are seeing 3 dots clustered together, but it's really like what you're visually seeing with your 3 eyes is what it is, but the video records it as one object for some reason, shifting frequency and color as it shifts from that blue spectrum to the white spectrum of frequency. So this person recorded the characteristics of what they were seeing. They jotted down the characteristics and they took a photo. And I found similar images of what this thing looks like to me with the naked eye when I'm looking at it. Looks like 3 perfectly aligned dots in a triangular shape. It always appears as a triangular shape with bluish white tint to these crafts or drones, whatever it is. But it's not Orion's belt, and it's not a cluster of 3 stars, because it's quiet, it hovers, it moves around positions, and it blinks more steadily and quicker than stars do or planets. So I've tried my best to do as much of investigation into this as I possibly could. And I see 2 or 3 of these things blatantly in the night sky, and it's not just all Orion's belt or a cluster of 3 stars, just to clarify, because sometimes it could be that, but I don't think it is that in this case. So this person actually who took the photo 7 years ago of this phenomenon of like 3 blue dots moving around, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a triangular shape. And the other one was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 moving in a triangular shape and a pattern of 1, 2, 3, 4. So they were seeing like 3 of these objects doing this in the night sky. Similar to this, and this is what I see, like a triangle. I've been seeing 2 to 3 of these at 8 p.m., 9 p.m., or 10 p.m. until 12 a.m. midnight. Sometimes until even 2 a.m., hovering, moving around, shifting, and blinking, like a bluish spectrum with a white hue. That's what I see with my naked eye moving around. And it hovers and moves around. And sometimes I do communicate with it psionically. And I even know it's there when it's visually not showing itself on the visual field, but I can sense it's there. And yes, I've talked to it, and yes, it appeared for me several times in several areas where I was able to shoot some good video of it. And it does blink more for me when I shoot the video. It puts on the light show to make it look good for the video. So I have interacted with this phenomenon, whether it's a craft or an advanced drone in crafts, because I've seen more than one set of them at a time now. And so has my mom. She's often seen more than one set of these hovering above our houses and the tree lines. So I'm going to just kind of go over what this person described and who they are. So they said, I'm a student pilot and my neighbor is a certified ATC, so we know most rules of the air and know about militarized formation flights. These dots in question had the following characteristics. So they're a student pilot, moving from right to left in the picture, and instead of disappearing in the horizon, they kept going, as if going out of the atmosphere. We could still see them, although barely. About 10 minutes later, they looked like they were going really fast at first, like a fighter jet, but then their speed dropped more than 3 times as they went into the distance. They were moving in a somewhat solid formation as seen in the picture, and kept this formation until it looked like we were behind them, but still kept it somewhat. As a pilot and together with my neighbor ATC, they looked like they were either very close to the ground or extremely high. Both are hard to justify because they emitted no sound and were too bright to be that far away. Also, the airports weren't closed, and they definitely crossed the TMZ terminal maneuvering zone of the closest airport. If they were fighter jets or whatnot, the airport traffic would have been diverted. Another insight we can figure at how high or fast they seemed to go. They did seem like they slowed down considerably when getting a beam to us, and they did not speed up after crossing our point of view. So they're giving the descriptables and the characteristics of these things, since one is a student pilot and one is an ATC. They either were extremely high altitude, meaning whatever these things are, crafts or drones, could justify the fact that we could still see them, yet if barely 10 minutes after they just kept going into the distance, or extremely low altitude. If they were super high, they'd have to be military, but at the same time, we saw commercial jets going on about their regular business, something that wouldn't happen if a training or formation flight were happening. These objects were bluish white, going too coordinated to not be manned, or at least remotely controlled, and going too fast for them to be lanterns. There were several of these objects that were moving in clusters, so is not the Orion's belt of 3 stars just blinking in the sky. So they didn't think it was Orion's belt, because there was more than one set of these moving. So that's interesting how they distinguish it. They know what stars are, they know what clusters of stars are, and they didn't think these were stars, what they photographed. And I don't think they're all stars either. I think some of these are truly genuine, advanced, either military drone systems or extraterrestrial crafts or drones that are remotely operated, or they're operated with someone's advanced consciousness that's operating these things, and you can connect with them and you can call them in, and you can record video of it because it has obvious intelligence. If it's going to tell you tonight I'm going to be like on the right side of the house, you need to look there to film tonight, which it told me one night, because I said, I know you're there. I could feel you on the left side of the house 10 minutes ago, and it says, well, now I'm the right side of the house, high above the tree line, hovering above this neighbor's house. You need to look there and record the video. I'm like, and it said to me, I'm going to twinkle extra bright for you. And I'm going to move and hover a little more for you today than the usual so you could get good video. I'm like, excellent. That's exactly what I'm looking for. So I was able to intelligently communicate with this drone or craft, whatever it is. I'm not sure if it's like human military, advanced human military, or extraterrestrial. It could be either or, because there are advanced consciousness human military drone systems that can interact with you on a consciousness level. And there could be extraterrestrial ones. Or you can be communicating consciously with the remote controller of the craft who's remote controlling it, or the drone, somebody who's in the military and is a psionic. You can actually be having a conversation with them and not just the drone. When you're a psionic, you can connect to many different things. So it's an interesting phenomenon that keeps happening around my house to this day. And I've been lucky to get some decent video of it and to find instances where other people have seen similar stuff to what I'm actually seeing every couple of days, at night when I come out and see this stuff in the sky. And just trying to figure out, is it truly Orion's belt that I'm looking at? Is it truly drones? Extraterrestrial craft? It seems to be some kind of a craft or a drone system. It has intelligence, and it hovers, it moves, and it's bluish white with a cluster of 3 triangular dots in blue-white color. And when I take video of it, it is blue. It is shifting colors and frequencies, bluish, green, yellow. It shifts frequencies, and when I'm looking at it from the naked eye, it's bluish, white, and human perception with your naked eyes can see it one way, and it's slightly different on video. But again, what I can tell you is when I've taken video of stars and planets, they are yellow and white. And they don't blink as much or twinkle as much with that intense frequency as these hovering, moving objects do. They seem to blink and move around a bit more and put on a light show, especially for video. So I did a few experiments when I shoot video again of the stars and planets. Yellow, they're yellow with a bit of a white spectrum, but mostly yellow. Not this intense blue or white hue on top of it. They don't shift colors. They don't hover and blink or twinkle so much. So those are the differences. And stars are mostly singular. Planets are singular as well. And Orion's belt is so faint. The video doesn't come out like the original video that I shot on January 26th, 2025. So there's differences, and I see a few of these drones every night, not just one singular one anymore. So that's interesting, and I wanted to kind of share the characteristics of what I notice. So there is, again, that intelligence. I can consciously connect to it with my ability, and it has a consciousness, whatever it is. So there's an intelligence here. And I think it is some kind of a drone system, whether it's human-made, reverse-engineered, or extraterrestrial, non-human origin, with consciousness remotely piloting it, or there's actual beings inside of it piloting it. It could be all of the above or remote controlled consciousness, and I can connect to it with my psionic consciousness and communicate with it. So, and then take video of it. And when I've tried to photograph it, the video turns out better than the photographs, but this is the best example of what a reference image would look like if I actually took a picture of it. These people had better cameras than I did. So it's obviously they were able to take a picture of these moving objects. And this was 7 years ago, so somebody else has encountered this particular phenomenon. I think it's the same thing as what I'm encountering in terms of the characteristics and what it is, either an advanced drone system or an advanced craft system, either human-made or non-human. Either of the above, and consciously can connect to it, has intelligence, and can speak to it and communicate. So there is that. It does have that characteristic as well, and I wanted to share that. And again, it appears in the night sky just hovering there quietly, making no sound, and sometimes airplanes and helicopters do pass by my house with their blinking lights on, red, yellow, blue lights. But it is not, this thing is not even a typical drone. It hovers with blinking blue and white lights and alternates between these three dots that I see, triangular dots. Just like this. There's more interesting purple, green, yellow, whitish color frequencies that it morphs in, and I guess blinks when you take the video of it. So it is very interesting phenomenon, and I wanted to describe it in more detail. Thank you so much.